So I feel so foolish about these tall yellow flowers. These are cut leaf rudbeckia, and they are, when they're not falling over like this, they're about 6 feet tall. And I have them growing all along the very edge of my fence there. And they're tall, wonderful yellow flowers. But for years I've been removing them. I thought they were weeds. And this year I noticed that they were growing very regularly. The spacing was very regular. So I thought, well, I'll just wait and see what grows up. And when I did, I was just amazed. It was this cut leaf rudbeckia. So the pollinators are loving it. And this is such a hot part of the year in August, where you really have to count on plants like rudbeckia to do all the blooming and give off a show. But this is just covered with bees. I hope you can see. I'm so glad I let it grow for them. Let me see if I can zoom in on some of the bee activity. But they're really enjoying this. So from now on, I'm going to let these beautiful cut leaf rudbeckia grow so we can all enjoy it. Let me step back and show you. They're actually all along this fence on the lower level, coming out from behind the grasses. So I just think that's pretty incredible. Sometimes you have things and you don't even realize it. Isn't that great, guys? So I have a menagerie of potted plants down here under my red bud, and I think it's really helped the red bud to survive. I think that the collection of pots and the somewhat messy cardboard under it help keep the moisture in the ground, especially during months like August, and keep a young tree like this from really drying out. But let me show you what I have in here. This is always an area where I just kind of tuck in what I have. And I do have a couple things that are still there from last year, but let me show you what's going on. So over here I have lavender, which I grew from seed, and I've had that for a couple years now. That was a Mother's Day gift from my son, the seeds, and I'm just delighted that it does well in this pot. In my area, our soil is clay, so lavender doesn't necessarily do well in the ground. But with this good drainage, it does just fine in the pot. Behind it, I have some very dry looking, tall, white ageratum. And I think it's a Dondo ageratum. But look, it looks like I'm going to get some seeds here. This is wonderful. Oh my gosh, a seed saving. This is a seed saving video, guys. Look, there's a lot of black, tiny seeds in there that I'm going to run right in and put in an envelope. I'll make sure it's dry first. But look at that, guys. That's wonderful. This is so easy to collect the seed from. And it's a beautiful plant. I did let it get a little bit too dry, but maybe that's why I'm able to get such nice dry seed right now. So I think that's such a pretty plant, especially for flower arrangements. Let me give you a close-up of those flowers. They just have like these little, very thread-like quality. Just beautiful. So I'm excited to have that plant there, and I'm excited to have just gotten seed. But anyway, let's go around this way. This is a new plant. It's called Lime Twister. It's a sedum hybrid stone crop, and it's a low-growing sedum. So it's actually supposed to be a bit yellow. I'm trying not to lose this ageratum seed in my hand, but this is what the label looks like. And it only gets to be about 6 to 8 inches. So it's kind of a low mounding plant, but it's really beautiful. And I'm excited. I have lots of autumn joy sedum. This is actually some autumn joy sedum, a little bit eaten up. But that also is one that does well in the heat of August and starts to put up blooms. And I've actually used these in flower arrangements very effectively. They're very pretty. in the garden and in the vase. And then over here, I'm delighted to show you how well this sage is doing. It was in a smaller pot, but I moved it up here and it has more soil around the roots, and it's very happy. And that's another one that does like good drainage, just like lavender. And then I have some basil going to seed back here. And these are some of the few marigolds that I have that haven't been eaten. So I may want to save the seed from that variety. A lot of my marigold seedlings have been eaten by something. So I don't know whether it's bugs or baby rabbits or squirrels. But these have been left alone. And I don't know if it's the variety or just the place it is in the garden. Maybe it just hasn't been noticed yet. I did stick a random small tomato in here, which I don't even have staked too well. And a small cutting of a geranium, so that pot isn't as magnificent as some of the others. But these are cuttings of my coleus down here, the very dark purple and the red. And they took really well, so they're easy. If you have an empty pot, just stick the cuttings in. And then I just have a couple of random blue dazzling kale on this side. So, you know, it's always, these pots are kind of always filled with whatever I have, and it doesn't seem to matter. The combination, especially when you step back, really seem to look great together. Maybe we spend too much time thinking about plant combinations when it's just so easy to put pretty plants in pots, and they always look so good together. Here's what it looks like from this angle. And it's all different textures and varieties of plants that bloom at different times. So I think that's the why it looks good at all times, because there's always something going on. So guys, unfortunately my soda bottle feeders that I was so excited about did not work out. Our rambunctious teenage squirrels chewed off the bottoms. They didn't feel like the seed came out fast enough. So I went ahead and ordered this wonderful vintage glass seed feeder. This was from Amazon, and I'll put an affiliate link down below in case you're interested. But this is done really well, and it's been very popular with the birds. We saw a northern flicker this morning, enjoying some seed from that. And the other one is kind of a makeshift temporary one. But I think if this one continues to do well in the garden, I'll probably add another one and replace the one I made. This is just out of recycled containers. And the birds love it, but they go through seed very fast with that one. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm really pleased with this one. And I was thinking that it'll have more longevity being glass and metal. Harder for those little squirrels to destroy. Some of the plants that I just transplanted in after taking out zucchini that was destroyed by the squash vine borers has really tripled or quadrupled in size. This really is the time of year where things grow fast. So I think in no time I'm going to have some butternut squash there. Hopefully. My peppers are putting on little tiny peppers there. It's a very small pepper plant, and this was one that a hot pepper plant that I saved from last year. So, you know, I may get a handful of peppers, but hey, it's better than nothing. And as you can see, even in the heat, my geraniums up here continue to put on blooms. I have had to give them some water. And I've really thinned out the foliage on all of my tomatoes throughout the property, just so they won't have to struggle to keep those leaves hydrated, and they can concentrate on the fruit. So they're very thinned out, and it also helps keep off blight. It gives you better air circulation to really thin off those leaves. The Rose of Sharon bushes are putting out blooms. I have a couple different varieties back here. That one is beautiful, and then I do have a blue variety right here. It's kind of a different shape. I hope you can see the colors. It's very pretty. But these are always reliable bloomers in the heat of August. And they almost look like hibiscus. I've spotted a cucumber in my container garden. That's nice to see. The vine didn't do much of anything all summer, and now it seems to really have gained momentum, and it is covered with lots of flowers, so hopefully some of those will be cucumbers as well. But that's so exciting. Nothing better than homegrown produce. I dug up most of my in-ground sedum and put them in pots, so I have put them back here. They get sun all afternoon, so hopefully they'll be happy. But they were really rotting out in the soil. I just have so much better luck putting them in pots. So I dug them up, and we'll see how they do. By next year, I expect these pots will be really full. These were actually cuttings. This pot and that pot. And my hydrangeas are doing well, but I never saw any blooms this year. So it might be that they're just too young at this point. I'm hoping it's not because it's too shady back here. They do get quite a bit of afternoon sun, so we'll see what happens. I was really surprised to see that I had carrots sprouting after the really hot week we had. I threw it out here in this bin that has some mixed colored green beans, and I didn't really expect much. I had the seed packet. I thought, oh well, I'll just put it out here. And look, lo and behold, despite the heat wave, here are the little seedlings, so maybe I'll get some carrots this fall. We'll see. This corner of the garden has been a pollinator haven. We've had some monarch butterflies come in and enjoy the tall Joe Pye weed. That's the tall purple flowered plant. And of course they're enjoying the black-eyed Susans. And I have to say my pumpkins are not producing. I think that this just isn't enough sunlight for pumpkins. But it's okay, the kale will be filling in, and I've got some beans growing here. But it doesn't matter because the pollinators are happy and enjoying all of these native wildflowers back here. My friend Lori gave me all of these gorgeous Joe Pye weed and also the black-eyed Susans. So she gave me beautiful butterflies as well. So thanks so much for walking around the garden with me this morning before it rains to see what's going on. I hope you're having fun in your gardens, and I'll see you next time.